Hello, everybody. Good to meet you all. So, I guess just quickly, how many of you know of or use TeamViewer or have used? Okay, great. Thank you. So what I'm going to do today is talk to you about what we do in TeamViewer for IoT specifically. We've been around the market for 15 years or change, and how that our kind of initial use case and our principles of how we thought of remote control and our model of free for everybody and paid for business context and business users, and how we take those principles for IoT. So a lot of my presentation is going to be more of a vision, so to speak, on how we think the market in general should go further and take IoT to a bigger scale. So I think this is an old deck. Fine, no, I'll improvise. So for context here on IoT, on TeamViewer, we are primarily known for remote control and access of devices, any device. So your smartphone, your tablet, your PC, a server rack. Typically the usage is for help desk. You know, my computer is not working, so you call help desk and say, let me have a look. So they fire up TeamViewer, connect to you, help you, get you going. That obviously works now into the mobile workforce context. So if you're out of your work environment, I can connect to your smartphone. Wherever you are, I can connect to your tablet. And that on and on has replicated into different use cases that initially we weren't pushing or asking for, example IoT. So since we work with most of operating systems in the market, we work with most of the different hardware components, we started seeing our software running on robots, on manufacturing facilities, in irrigation systems. We started seeing companies getting into more and more exciting use cases. Then it made sense for us to create a spin-off of TeamViewer, which is our IoT platform, focused or using our core architecture. So it gives us the scale. So you could be in China, you could be in the US, you could be in Europe, it doesn't matter, it will work. And using that core technology allows us to now scale to IoT use cases, giving people a very unique frame. So one of the things we've learned in IoT and our journey in this and working with all major brands and companies in this space is that there's 4 key things that kind of gravitate around IoT. So going from left to right. So the first one is uncertainty. More so in Europe than in the US, to be frank, but there's a lot of try before I buy. I want to do a POC, then I want to do another POC, then I'm going to work with 5 different vendors to see who has the best offer, and I still have questions, which is not your normal SaaS selling cycle. So this is 100% consultative enterprise selling. Most of the deals are 4 to 6 months, just in proof of concept, and then you get into a full year cycle of negotiation at best. So it's a really long sales cycle, which clearly doesn't drive the mass numbers we talk about of adoption in IoT. You pick any analyst's white paper, it'll talk about IoT, the next billion frontier, but it's very slow to get there. And this is part of the problem. Second point is complexity. The technologies today, we come from lack of standardization to now getting there. So my colleague here on Siemens talked a lot about that. So OPC UA, MQTT. So many protocols are now getting to a broad adoption. You could argue 80% of platforms for IoT are Linux, so that helps. So there's more and more adoption standardization that is getting at the end broader adoption, but it's still complex. It's not a project that a small, medium business can entertain. You have a fragmented ecosystem. So many times you have to go a full stack with a vendor versus saying, I want a piece of technology from this company or a piece of technology from this other company. So you pretty much have to marry yourself to whether it's a cloud provider or a full stack. And that doesn't help, or that doesn't equate to what we see with other businesses. The other point is gestation. It's just really hard to see the ROI. So as I said, you have all this time to think of how the use case is going to be for IoT. Many companies understand that it's important for them, there's a benefit, but it's very hard to translate it into a business benefit. That's why system integrators, consultants are making a killing here, because customers really want to understand, how do I make money here? I understand automation, that I understand bringing efficiencies to my manufacturing facility, to my product lines, but who can help me translate it or sell it within the company, because we have 20 other priorities to think about. And that brings me to the mindset. So do we wait for the innovators? Do I wait to my competitor to see what they did and maybe I can copy paste? Or maybe I can play it safe versus going to explore? Or how do I get rid of my old habits? So again, I don't know if you concur with this, but this is what we've been seeing for the last few years in the market and sharing it with other technology companies in this space. So doing a deep dive on what we say about democratizing IoT. And for us, part of the success of TeamViewer has been making it easy. So you want to remote control a device, your grandmother can use it. If you want to remote control your smartphone, anybody without a tech background could do it. So how can we translate that user experience and those principles to something as complex as IoT? So that the challenge here is not just a technology challenge, it's a huge business challenge. It's an ecosystem challenge. So we try to break it down in 3 buckets. So the first one is convergence. How do we, and I'll go deeper into each of them, but at a high level, what we mean by convergence is, how do we blend the internet experience with machine lifecycle? What this means is, if I'm a manufacturer of devices, let's say a robot, an arm, how do we take from the roadmap design all the way to putting it in production, all the way to selling it to customers, all the way to handling feedback, all the way to returns, and then putting off-market that device. So using internet technologies to bring that efficiency into the supply chain. So that's what we mean by convergence. The second one is inclusion. Right now, 80% of projects in IoT that we see, or 90, are in the enterprise. So small, medium businesses very rarely participate in this space. Now, some mid-market, upper mid-market companies, depending if you start slicing the market, are seeing more active participation. Technologies are getting more accessible, and they're playing here. But it's primarily an enterprise play. Complexity, cost, lack of need, lack of understanding, security, you name it. So more and more, as we look into how we empower operational technologies and kind of initiatives like low code, where any given user can go in and through widgets or visual elements program a workflow which would automate a process, gets us to that direction. And the last point here is sharing and accessibility. We're seeing no new business models where high-cost items, and I'll share a personal example, but high-cost items are not shared across multiple companies. So example, Volkswagen sharing a manufacturing facility with a competitor. That 5-10 years ago, you would never hear of that. But now we're seeing it because there's a clear efficiency there and we all win. So sharing and accessibility, we feel, is another key principle on this kind of notion of democratizing IoT. So going a bit deeper on each of them, again, the bringing the internet experience, you can kind of compare the pyramid left to right, from e-commerce to buy and build, live support, bots. But the idea is all these different lines of innovation that are coming in the market and how we use that, how we think about our products, how we bring them to market, from conception to manufacturing to go-to-market to support and to end of life. So all those can see the benefit from the internet experience, and we're seeing more and more, especially hardware companies, that call us and say, we want to embed TeamViewer, or we're looking into this cloud platform and your cloud platform and bringing them, so we wrap it all together and we push it to our customers. So more and more hardware companies, again, machine lifecycle, are taking this as how they go to market. Inclusion. So I talked about how do we bring these benefits from the enterprise all the way to small, medium businesses. So there's a couple of points here. One is customers want solutions, not a set of features. Now, we all know this, but in IoT, it doesn't translate that efficiently. So a lot of the things we do with our platform is investing on wizards, investing on visual elements that if I want to add a sensor or a PLC, or I want to configure a specific IoT challenge, I can do it visually, and I can get it running without needing too much help. Now, easier said than done, but we're putting a lot of work on getting that onboarding and making it easy. That brings us shorter time to market, and the provisioning makes it easier down the line. So if I want to add all these sensors in a building that are connected to a PLC that then I want to see in a visual dashboard, I could mass provision them versus going one by one. So scripting, UI, ease of use are benefits we see that at the end translate in getting all different types of companies to participate here. Now, low-code journey. This one, I feel, especially in IoT, is a critical thing for many of us to think about because that makes all stakeholders to participate. So when we think of digital apps or digital services, now a business unit could decide if I need a specific workflow or a specific set of features I want to solve through an app or a mobile widget within a UI that I could construct myself and then put it on board. So low-code app logic creation tools get us into that path and allows us to distribute the power of software, not just from engineering, R&D, all the way to the business units. A lot of what we see when we're selling to customers in IoT is primarily, and here's the interesting, if we're selling traditional TeamViewer, it's typically the office of the CIO, the help desk, kind of tech support department. That's where we typically discuss. IoT, most of the time, is the product lines. Product teams, research team, product management teams, sometimes a business unit, but the office of the CIO is a second thought. They come in to do the security certification. They come in to do maybe the ROI analysis, but typically the transaction happens in the product team, the product management side of the business. So some examples here. When we think of inclusion, we've seen a lot of traction in farming, in smart farming. So we have deals with the biggest smart agriculture kind of trucking companies in the world. You can figure them out. I can't say the names, unfortunately. But what this means is many companies are embedding our technology into their tractors, and they ship them to areas where they have very low to no connectivity. And we're talking farmers, so they're not your typical tech-savvy people, so they know how to manage a truck. But now we're giving them a companion device that through that device, they can see weather predictions, how's the soil doing, areas specifically they should go focus on, times they should go operate or stop. So it gives them all this metadata analysis and guidance how to operate. And where we come in is assisting the operator on how to use the device. Or if the device has an issue, headquarters or the customer can see all the lines of devices, and if they see red, green lights on things that are going on, they can connect remotely to that device, in this case, the device being the tractor, and remotely manage it or operate it. So these means you getting non-tech savvy people to participate to be more productive. You reduce your lag times or time of non-operation, and everybody benefits here. So quick connecting, quick enabling, remote support in tractors, again, an example that we've seen a lot of traction, and I think it's a nice blend of the message I'm trying to convey here. You can see below what I mean, how the UI looks for both the operator of the truck, which is the middle, and then the kind of headquartered side of the view. So that gives you an idea. Now, sharing and accessibility. Here, the idea is thinking of new business models, how we have this notion of sharing machines, manufacturing plants, sharing the cost, going from CapEx to OpEx. So getting into that mentality, one example I want to share with you, I went to a dentist. I live in the Bay Area, and they had to do a crown, which is an awesome experience. And in the old days, they had to send it to a lab, take a cast, do it, and then you come back in 2 weeks and you get it in your mouth. So now they use a scanner. They scan your mouth, and they say, wait 40 minutes. They go to the lobby where other dentists are, but they have this 3D printer. And in the 3D printer, they print the onlay. They come back in 40 minutes later, and they put it in your mouth, and you leave. It's done. Now, that printer is not just of that dentist. All the dentists in that building, which I believe were 5, share that 3D printer. So again, getting into this notion of added value, scaling, innovating, and you can offer your own services, but it makes it less prohibited and makes everybody else participate. So here, we also work with companies on different models on how we can embed our technology that allows them to keep those devices running, because we're in the business of supporting remote operations, remote assistance, remote alarming when it's about IoT. So we make sure these things are always running, so the dentist doesn't have to worry about it or think about it. So bringing it all together, inclusion, convergence, and sharing, we believe is the way forward to reduce barriers and get IoT into broader scale market. The numbers are there. We are here. The opportunity is there. We strongly believe in this. Many companies we talk to believe in this as well. Obviously, we're getting there. Lots of challenges ahead, but we're excited. And we have a booth there, so we're happy to take more questions if time doesn't allow to answer them here. And that's it. So thank you for your time. Question over there.